I'm a mom first.
A friend.
Determined.
A leader.
A multicultural millennial badass.
Compassionate.
I am not different.
A daughter of God. I'm a fighter. A daughter. A wife.
Grandmother.
I am beautiful.
So many different roles and so many great people in my life that I am, I'm loved. Like, I really believe that wholeheartedly. Peace. I am peace. I am your future. I mean, I am part of when someone looks at me and the steps that, we've gone through so women can sit out here and do these things. Like, I'm a piece of that. I help build that bridge.
I am enough.
Strong.
Myself. I'm smart.
Professor.
Therapist.
I'm sad, funny.
And I love inspiring others. So I am also a motivator and a go-getter in helping people reach their health goals, no matter where they are, and trying to be really a mover and shaker in letting people know that you can do this no matter where you start, and I'm here to support you and lift you up.
Just pure love, because that's what I think will help me to be in whatever role I am doing, whether as a mom or in any other kind of relationship.
Oh, wow. I would like to say moving for my job and disrupting their life.
The hardest decision to take as a mom was to walk out of my marriage, actually.
To divorce their father.
Put both of my daughters very early on into childcare.
I believe it has to do with my baby. Probably when they wanted me to make a decision if we go for a feeding tube or not.
The absolute hardest part is letting go. You have to let them go.
And it was very difficult for the family. I had to stop them from trying to resuscitate him because his heart had stopped.
That I had to work and I wasn't always available. I think that was the hardest for me.
The hardest thing in motherhood for me is, I've gone through a lot of hard things, and I would say that I learned that I'm stronger than I think. And I'm choosing to be overwhelmed with my life. I breathe through it because I chose to want to have this beautiful life with being busy with kids.
That was really hard. My kids I moved a lot just because I'm a female in a man's world. I was getting jobs where no female had ever worked. I was breaking glass ceilings, and my kids, unfortunately, it wasn't healthy for them. But they got to see me breaking these ceilings, doing this, standing up for women's rights, fighting the system. We belong here. Wasn't so much a bra burner as I was just saying, hey, we belong here. And I always had to work twice as hard, and so, but I moved my girls a lot. But now they're older, and they will say, Mom, thank you, because it's given us we are who we are because of it. Because they had to start over. They had to figure out how to make new friends. So military type family, but we weren't military. The joke is, I guess I ran the house like a sergeant, right? But sometimes my kids would remind me, we're not your employees. And I can finally say I'm in a spot now in my life that my job isn't defined.
The kids turned out very well. Great people. I try to spend more time now with the grandbabies. Give myself some time. Work is, you got to work to survive, but there comes a time when you have to. If you don't slow down, you'll miss something. You'll miss your kids growing up so fast and your grandbabies growing up, So I try to find more time.
Because I started a brand new job when I was pregnant, when I was on the 10-year track. The hardest decision was really that because I didn't have a lot of maternity leave, and in the United States, it's not like Germany where you get a year of maternity leave. So I had to put both of my daughters very early on into childcare. And looking back now, I wish that I would have been in a position where I could have taken more time off, but I wasn't. So I had to work full-time at the university, and my children really were at the children's center from 7:30 until 5 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. And that was a long day, and they were only 3 months old. I wish that I wouldn't have had to do this, but it had to happen in that moment. So that was very difficult for me. And now I'm trying to make an even more intentional time with them, to spend time with them and making sure that they know I'm there for them.
And I mean, you're like, I don't want her to have a hole in her tummy. I don't want her to have a surgery. But if I don't do this, she probably will starve to death because she won't eat by mouth. It cannot heal. Everything is burned, right? So this was very, very scary. And seeing her so teeny tiny, they brought a stroller and put her in the surgery thing, in a stroller. So I think this was the hardest thing to do. But now looking back, I'm like, it was the right decision to do because everything could heal,
Yeah, I mean, our family's not perfect, and your kids will put you through some stuff. Like, they will push boundaries and they will push limits, and I think about just different instances with some of my sons, and they're trying to find their way in this world, and just becoming, just generally speaking, just becoming, and they have to learn on their own, and I think every kid goes through that in some sort of capacity. Almost every kid goes through that, where they're pushing boundaries and they're pushing limits and they're trying to see, and that can be very taxing. It can be very, very taxing, and sometimes you may even wonder, will this relationship last? Like we're coming head to head at this point, and sometimes like you're an adult saying these things to me, or you're an adult treating me this way. Sometimes that comes head to head. But at the end of the day, the very, very hardest part is removing yourself, from the role that you were when you were raising them, and being like a guide. Hopefully you're a guiding light to them there. That's the hardest part for me.
We made it through, and it was the best for him. We had to think not with our hearts, because we were afraid, we didn't want to lose him. We had to think what was best for him, because there would have been no quality of life. And now as the kids have gotten older, they really understand why that was. But it was a tough decision. But I would do it again if I had to.
It wasn't healthy for any of us. It wasn't healthy for them as children to live in that environment. So becoming a single mom was very difficult, but I had a good support system for myself, which included my parents and my family and friends, and through that got me through a difficult time.
Because I had to go through domestic violence, and I somehow felt that I didn't want to raise my son with values where it was okay, to physically abuse your partner. And when people say that, you should continue in your partnership for your child, this is the one time I said that, no, I don't want to do it because of my child, because I don't want him to witness this. If it's happened once, I don't think that it can't happen again. So I just put my foot down then and there in the first time itself. And I know still a lot of people even today say, oh, you should give second chances. There are always second chances. I'm sure there are. maybe if I had decided back then about it and given a second chance, maybe life would have been different. Maybe something else would have happened in my life. But that does not mean that I have any regret about it, because I do know that it shaped my son to grow as a compassionate person who is, who is gentle and kind, and I think very sensitive towards people, towards his relationships around him, whether it's with friends or with his teachers or back at home. So I have a feeling that if we took the responsibility of bringing somebody into this world, bringing life into this world, then that's just not where it stops, because we need to make sure that up to a certain age that they are able to, their brains are stable enough to take decisions for themselves. At least up till that age, our responsibilities as parents, as moms, will continue. I mean, as much as kids keep saying, "Mom, I've grown up now. I mean, I'm a teenager now," or whatever, I still know that it's hard for his brain. So the brain is still in a developing stage, and so that's why what we do and how we do, they are observing, they are watching, and that's what they are learning from. So this was one big decision which I had to take, because I knew that if I continued, he will watch what's happening between us as parents and learn and grow with that.
I love waking up every morning and just being able to hug her that she's here. So I'm doing it already, because she's the most precious gift, and she showed me that you can be strong. She's such a strong little personality.
Really, one of the best moments is when Kayla got baptized. Just my heart exploded. Like, I just knew that, that's a big deal to me, that my kids know Jesus. I definitely would want to go back when my parents were alive and spend some time there, and that with my kids. My dad died when Hallie was barely born, so she was little.
So I have to go back a little bit, because there was a moment when, we were still not separated. One of the times my partner literally took my son, who was still, 3 months, that 4 months old time period, and he took him away from me for about one night or 2 nights, and we were not, I was separated from him, and he went back to his parents' home, and that was kind of 2.5 hours away from where we were currently living. So, I still remember that moment was so hard for me, and so coming back to reality, or coming back to now, the present moment, is that as much as I love to have my own space, my me time, but whenever I am in my me time, I still miss my child around me, and I'm like, oh, where is he? And then when he's here, he gets on my nerves. But then that's the magic here. That's the beauty of it.
This last March, all my kids were together at home, and we spent the whole week of just grilling out and going to the beach, and I want more of that. I want more time, with my family. So that was I think the happiest I've been in a long time. Everybody was under the same roof. So, yeah, I think that's it.
I like to go visit my daughter in Europe. At Christmas I was there. I have a grandson there, he's 6, and they're my loves.
In the summer, when the children don't have school, I have these cute little paper planners that basically lay out each day of the week, and we give days little names. For instance, we make it Library Monday, and Thriving Tuesday, and Wellness Wednesday. And so then on these days, we plan out things. We call it the 3 blondies, right? Because we are kind of all like blonde. We plan out little activities, whether that's going to the beach, going to the library, going downtown. And I love these summers. So if I could relive a moment, I would always think of the summers when we have our amazing days that are themed and how much fun we have. Just enjoying the area where we live, but our community that we really build as a family. That's to me very precious.
Moms take all the pictures, and Christmas is my favorite. Like that whole child, because I know they're gonna grow up at some point in a few years, they're not gonna be like the excited, innocent babies running out for Santa. And my husband didn't grow up with Christmas. And so when I see him excited, seeing his babies excited, and my girls are excited, and I'm excited, and I'm recording everything, I'm like, this is what I dreamed of when I was wanting to be a mother, was these special moments that will live on forever. Like they will grow up remembering that this happened. This is how they made them feel. And so holidays are my favorite, and I could relive them, and I watch them on my phone.
When my children were older, one was in college, the older boys had their own lives, and I asked them one Christmas for my present to sleep over at my house and wake up with them on Christmas morning, like we used to when they were small. And they did that, and that's the best present I've ever received, was having them all onto my roof and sharing Christmas morning with them again.
Family holidays. Holidays were very, very important in our household. Thanksgiving, Christmas, we were all together as a family. We had extended family there. It was always very, very important that we were there for the holidays. And it has continued on to this day.
My favorite days were on the beach and pool days. And so I often think about that. And I do remember being in those moments, just enjoying the moment, just being so ever present and just, being there. Those are moments that I like to sit in, just watching my children enjoy life as children.
No matter what people tell you, you can really change the outcome, and doctors are not always right. I mean, I know another mom, they told her that her baby never would gonna be eating, and she did the same. I told her my story. She believes she started doing things, and the baby is eating. It is possible.
As a mom, I feel like it's like we have these, I don't want to say superpowers in a sense, but there's like nothing that we wouldn't do for our kids, and we would go beyond, things that you wouldn't think that you could do or handle just to make things, better or easier for your children. And so yeah, I think we're pretty strong. I think we're pretty badass. I really do.
They told me what I needed to hear, that I made a difference. And being a female and being the boss in an all-man world, right? And you have 4 daughters and go to this world where they hate, that you feel like you just have to go in there twice as hard every day. It was worth it, right? Like, it was worth it.
So this whole journey, is so magical, and it's so beautiful because we are connected from the inside, from the soul. So even if we will and I'm sure it's going to happen someday or the other, that he's going to go on his own way, he's going to make his own home, he's going to have his own life, but that connection is something on the inside. You can feel it in your stomach, because that's where the life was connected, when we were conceiving. So I know this for a fact, that however far or however near, this thing in your stomach which it makes you feel, you cannot ever feel it in any relationship. It's always that mother and child bond, and that's how it gets created, really, because it's happening on the inside. So for me, that's like the most magical things of motherhood, and just the fact I see him growing, and we are as moms able to visualize the baby, and then the 5-year-old, and then now the 12-year-old, and then as soon as they'll be 18, and then a 21, and then getting married, and they having kids. But in our eyes, we can actually see their entire life, you know. So I think that's also another thing which only moms can do, and so we cannot visualize our own life, but our moms can do it for us. You know what I'm trying to say? So the same thing is with us for our own children. We can literally rewind in the past to know that how he looked like or she looked like as a baby, and then so on and so forth. So it's a magical connection. I feel that, you know, the universe, only we can, you know, create this magic. That bond is something which is hard to, you know, to compare it with anything else, I feel.
If I were to tell my younger self, younger mothers, newborn mothers, give yourself grace. Like, give yourself so much grace. Nobody will ever do it the way you do it. Your mother can never show you how to be a mother the way you want to be a mother.
The most gratifying job is when you can, for anyone, is when you can help others, and you can help others help themselves. I've been teaching for 44 years. I hope I continue to do this. I plan on continuing to do this until I'm 100 years old.
You know, life is like giving birth, right? We have to go through all the pain, and the baby goes through all of that pain to get here. But I feel like that's the same way with me. I feel like, you know, as God's created me, and I'm this baby being birth, right? And I'm going through all of this stuff, you know, and I use that birth canal as part of that, because it is creating something special in me. I'm that special. And through all of the suffering and the hard stuff and the good stuff, what really makes my heart happy and what really makes me sad, now I'm at a point in my life that, hey, that doesn't work for me anymore. I have boundaries now. Like, I say no now, and I'm loved. And if people want to come in my world and they want to share love, that's fine. But if you bring pain and hate and stuff like that, I don't have room for in my life anymore.
And there's nothing that I can't do. No matter how hard life gets, I always manage to find my way through and plug along and come out better in the end than I was before.
I think it's one of the best gifts that God could have given a woman. It's emotional, actually. But yeah, I think that's it.
I just gotta remember I was made for this. Let them take me as far as they want to go.